Are you 5, 10, 20K, or even more in credit card debt? Do you have student loans and have no idea how you're ever going to pay them off? Well, what if I told you that if you have 10 to 20K or even more of credit card or student loan debt, it could be completely gone within just a year or two? And that's exactly what I did. In 2019, I was over $20,000 in credit card debt. I maxed out my credit card, then I took out a loan to pay off that credit card, then maxed it out again. Before I knew it, I was $20,000 to $25,000 in debt, and I felt like this dark cloud was hovering over me, and all I could think about was getting out. See, I had this problem. I was addicted to betting on sports. At that time, I had no idea about investing. I just wanted to make more money, and I had watched sports my whole life. So I thought that was the easiest way that I could make more money, but I was completely wrong. Year after year, I would continue to lose money. By the end of football season in 2018, I was down over $5,000. I needed to pay off that debt, but my credit card was already maxed out and I didn't have any extra income. So I took out a loan, paid down my credit card, then maxed it out again to pay off my gambling debt. This is completely embarrassing to talk about, like such a terrible financial decision. But things were about to get better. See, I was lucky. I had a job where I could multiply my income. B2B Sales. From that point on, I got extremely focused on paying off my debt. I would write down a game plan for all the money that I had coming in and then just start counting down the days till I would get more and I could continue to pay down this debt. But a few months later, something happened that changed my life. See, I missed a $2,000 bonus by about $40. I needed to get 1% above my goal to hit a $2,000 bonus, and I was at 100.98%. Insanely close. Like it was almost nothing. I was mad, then depressed. I was sitting in my truck talking to a friend, and he asked me why I was so sad. I told him what happened, and then he said something that absolutely changed my perspective. He just said, "Why are you only trying to hit 1%? I was like, damn. He was like, yeah, you should be 10%, 20%, or even more up every quarter. That should be your goal, not 1%. I knew he was completely right. I had not been pushing myself enough. At that point, I started hitting bonuses like crazy at my job. Over the next few years, I became determined to make as much money as I could and pay off that debt. And within just a couple years, I had paid down all of that debt to where it was zero. I still remember putting in that last credit card payment and taking a screenshot. It was $5,000, and I was so happy to be done with that. I canceled my credit card, cut it up, and was like, dude, I don't want another credit card. We do have a credit card today, but my wife manages that. The only credit card we have is because she manages it and she manages our finances. We keep a low monthly balance, and then if we have an emergency, we use that credit card. But most of the time, our balance is very low to pay it off, and if I wanted to, I could pay that off anytime. We also, in 2020, bought a house and paid for our wedding. And I would not have been able to do that without having a job in sales. My wife was also in sales at the time, and we both started having a lot of success. In 2020, I read this book called The Compound Effect, and it just completely changed my perspective on how progress is made. Now, most people are struggling right now. Credit card balances are going up. Insurance prices have doubled or tripled, and obviously every time you go to the grocery store, the prices seem like they've doubled. I've never heard more people say, I can't believe we spent this much at the grocery store at the checkout line. But now it's like my wife and I play a game like over or under, and it's at the point now where it's like if we spend $150 or less than 200, it's a win. When I was 20, I would spend $50 a week on groceries. That's how bad inflation and how expensive it is now to live. Like cost of living has gone up so much. Inflation is outpacing people's incomes. Like if you get a 1% to 3% salary increase per year, but inflation has gone up multiple percentage points every single year, prices are changing faster than inflation can keep up with, especially for things like insurance, groceries, and all these things that we have to pay for. And to make matters worse, a lot of companies are starting to have layoffs. Tech, there's retail stores closing, and it's a little bit scary. So what can you do to fight this? How could you double or triple your income in a single year? How could you get more time freedom so that you have more energy for your family and your health? The answer is sales. See, there are three main ways you can get a job in sales and change your life drastically quickly. See, most people might hear the word sales and immediately switch off and think, oh, I'm not salesy or I'm not pushy. But that's most likely a misconception because of some negative experience you might have had in the past. See, I'm here to tell you that sales is not about being salesy or pushy. It's actually about solving people's problems. If you can take care of people and solve people's problems, then you can be in sales. I started out in door-to-door sales out of college. I sucked at it. Then I went to be a server and I learned how to take care of people. And then after that, I went into retail and I did management, and that developed my customer service skills, my sense of urgency, and my resilience. And when I got an opportunity to move into the sales world, it was all the parts about being a server and all the parts about being in retail that I liked and took away all the parts that I didn't like. And I realized that I had so much more time freedom than I did before, because for the first time in my life, my pay was not dictated by time. It was dictated by my results. Like, that is so powerful. So there's one way to budget where you can try to save $100 or $200 a month. But if you have 10 or 20K or more of debt, it's going to take so long to pay that down. What if you could get the same salary you're already making, but then potentially double that by getting bonuses? That's why I love sales. B2B sales is like the easiest step. If you're somebody like me who is a server, or you're working retail, but you're capped on how much you can make and you're grinding away every day, you're working every weekend at the store, and you have no time freedom, and by the time you leave work, you have no energy left. Like, that's why I love sales, because you're going to have more time freedom. You're going to have more energy for your family and to work out, things like that, your health. And all of a sudden, like, you can potentially get a check of like 5K, 10K, or even more sometimes. And then think about what that could do for your debt. Think about what that could do for your family when you have a $5,000 expense come along and it's no problem whatsoever. Like, that's freaking life-changing. So many people are struggling and they don't have that much savings, especially for a big expense. People's savings have gone way down over the last couple of years because of inflation and the skyrocketing prices that we talked about. So this is the great part as well. Sales is always going to be hiring for people. They're always looking for talented, hungry, motivated salespeople, okay? And there's always businesses that want to grow. That's the beauty of sales. And once you learn this skill, no one can ever take it from you. You're always going to have that, and it can translate into so many more areas of your life that you don't even realize. Now, the three main ways you can get into sales are B2B, high ticket, and then door to door. So B2B is the most stable. It's going to give you a salary plus bonus potential, and then you'll have a territory that you manage. High ticket is less stable, but there's people making 10, 20, or 30K per month in that, and you do have to work a lot more hours and it's a lot more intense, but you can make a lot of money with that. And lastly is door to door. Now, door to door is by far the hardest in my opinion. Like, you're out there in the elements every day, but because of that, you have the potential to make even more money. Like, for instance, pest control sales, door to door, it's very difficult, but there's people that have made $500,000 in just a few months, and you have the potential as well to get residual income from that. That's the crazy part. So if you're new to sales and you just want to get started, I would definitely recommend B2B or high ticket, because it's easy to get into those industries. Now, if you want help with this, I'm starting up a school community, and that's the whole purpose of this, is to help people get into sales so that they can get out of debt, because that's changed my life, and I want other people to experience the power of that. And this community is going to be very low priced, but it's going to be capped at 500 people, because I want to give people who are hungry and motivated a chance where I can help them, and then not have it be like a 5K thing or something like that. It's actually like basically the price of Netflix almost. And you could change your life potentially by joining this community. I'll help you with your resume. I'll give you guidance on interviews, and I'll help you land your first role in sales. Now, beyond that, I also am going to have fitness courses. I'm going to have investing courses, and I'm going to have courses on content creation. All these things that can level up your life and help you self-actualize. Like, these are the things that I'm passionate about. So as an extension of me, this is what I want to bring to the group, so that I can have a community of people that are tight-knit and all looking to help each other. Now, if this is something you're interested, go ahead and click that link below. But if you're not ready yet and you just want to learn how to be more consistent, watch this video here where we talk about it. Thanks a lot.